Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've just been over on Urban Prepper UK. Is it Urban Prepper UK or UK Urban Prepper? One of the two. I don't think there's anyone with a name identical to that. It's just nice to see other UK-based urban and city preppers out there, because the vast majority of the people that live in this country, which means the vast majority of preppers, live in an urban environment. So it's useful. And there's Scottish prepper, and then there's another one called, I think it's Everyday Prepper. But yeah, the UK Urban Prepper or Urban Prepping UK or whatever it was, I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, he's a laid back chap, nice bloke, and he's been on it. But I put a question on. I bumped into one of our little tribe that was over there. I think she's a member over there because her name's like highlighted. He can do live chats. We're not for Terry. It's not fair. It's not. So yeah, hi Kelly. So I put a question in there saying, are you prepping for the pole flip? And he's very insistent that it's not going to happen for possibly thousands of years, based on research that he's done. I'm let me know what you think down in the comments, because I'm looking at how far it's travelled, say over the last 30 years, as in the magnetic north, not the true north. How far it's travelled, the incremental speed at which it is increasing at, and then trying to figure out a rough idea of when this may happen, as in an oceanic sloshback, which is the main concern. So we've got very, very, very conflicting opinions on that. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe we're both wrong. Who knows? But I'd love to get your take on that. So my dad came around with them. I'd washed everything. I'd put everything away. The grinder and the press. There's more to this video. I've got a bit to go on with. Don't worry. This kitchen's just, if you had smelly vision, all you'd smell is bread being baked. So I've got one in the bread maker now. So I don't know if you can see that activity there. So it's working. One bubbler is there bubbling, the other one isn't, and we can't figure out why, because I've gone through, there was a pack of 6 and only one's working, and then I transfer that one to that one, as in the bubbler, from that demijohn to that demijohn, and then it carries on working in that one. So it doesn't make any sense, because they're very, very simple pieces of equipment, so I've got no idea, but they are doing the job. They are working. It's activated. It's making cider. I've just made so my dad turned up with a massive carrier bag, bin bag, full of apples after I'd washed and cleaned and put the equipment away. And where I'd put the equipment was one of the few spaces where I could think of that I've still got some space to put stuff. And that was in a little storage unit right at the bottom of the garden that I haven't been in for years. I've had no reason to go in there. And I found another prepping tub. Got them everywhere. Oh my God, I got really carried away in 2020. Really carried away. So the waste apple from getting the juice from the apples to make it into cider. I ended up with then, loads of crushed apple from the grinder. Most of it's gone into, I've spread it between the 3 composters, so it doesn't overwhelm, the composter. You've got to have balance in your composters. And then I managed to save a little bit. So you fill all of the flour that I've gotten out of the loft to make my bread with, I've almost run out of that now. But it's left me with loads of spare mason jars that I didn't want to waste. So I thought I'll make my own apple cider vinegar because, to the right of the coffee, all of that and then all the way back is all apple cider vinegar. So it makes sense to make my own, And so you fill any container, fill it half full with crushed up apples, and then the rest with water. And for each glass of water you put into your mason jars or your container, you put 1 tablespoonful of sugar. And then every day you faff around. I've made it hard for myself using elastic bands that are too big. So it's quite fiddly. Every day, give it a stir, put the top back on, stop any crap from getting in there so it can still breathe. Give it a stir every day, once a day, every day. And eventually you'll have your own apple cider vinegar with the mother. Completely organic, homemade. So yeah, it's the weekend, so I've still got loads more potatoes to grab, loads. Yeah, do you know what? When I'm out and about, wherever I go, even if I'm feeling a little bit down or a little bit heavy, a little bit low sometimes, which I am from time to time, I'm human. Like I said, I feel just like you guys, we're sensitive but strong at exactly the same time. If I hear, and this is good, so Leslie used this term earlier on, but we've become quite familiar with the whole people putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5. So whenever I hear, so using that analogy, if I hear people anywhere saying 2 plus 2 is 5, I can't keep my mouth shut. I've got to open my mouth. I try not to be, aggressive or anything like that. I try and stay as neutral as possible and just put them straight. And whether they believe me or not is irrelevant. It's irrelevant because the information that's come out of my mouth has still gone into their head and will hopefully make sense at some point further down the line. But yeah, generally, no matter how I'm feeling, I promote positivity everywhere I go. You'll have seen it in the videos on the walk and talks, because it makes a difference. It brings some sort of balance, even if it's just momentary, it all adds up. So yeah, just a smile, a hi, how you doing, to complete and total strangers, it makes a difference. It makes more of a difference than you think. And that's what I do. I do that every day. I make a point of doing that, and it's genuine. Even if I'm feeling low, my positivity is real. It's true and truthful and honest. There's no fakery there. So I don't know how that works, putting genuine positivity across when I'm not feeling tip top. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's real, genuine positivity. So yeah, one of life's little mysteries. So this is the tub that was it's spent what, four winters, nearly 5 winters outdoors in Spider City, which was a challenge. But it was one of those tubs where you have to break snap the little thing off, so it's properly sealed. The only thing that's gone out of this tub, so bearing in mind, this was 8 days after my birthday in 2020. I was going for it. I knew. So the only thing that's gone out of this bucket is a lot of Bubble and Squeak powdered mash sachet from Asda. That's it. And that was used and eaten. Again, disclaimer, you eat out of date food at your own risk. So that's all that's gone out of here. I've opened this because I put a fair bit in the bread that's cooking at the moment in the bread maker. I am going to start just using the bread maker to make dough, and then start using my crock pot on top of my stove to try and make bread that way. I've got enough greaseproof paper to carpet a house. So a bit of garlic powder gone out of there. That was in the tub. So it's going to be boring to some people, but it fascinated me because I don't remember what I've put in these tubs. Ideally, it would have been a good idea for me to do a little kind of buy extra large stickers and then write down exactly what's in there and the dates that they go out of date, go beyond their best before date, and then put that sticker on the side of the tub. So I know exactly what's in there, but I didn't do that. But there was some logic going on somewhere. So, stuff like soy sauce, I've got light and dark in there. The amount of salt content that's in there, it can take really bland rice and make it interesting. I was thinking about a time when I was living in Bedsit land. This is a very long time ago. Easy 25 years ago. And there was a guy that was completely landed on his arse. He was on his arse. He had nothing. So I bought him some shopping. And then about 6 months down the line, I was on my arse. Even though I was working, all I had was one sachet, one boil in the bag rice thing. That's all I had. No salt, no pepper, nothing. And I just went up and asked him if I could take some ketchup or something like that. And he was really umming and ahhing about it. And I just thought, you bastard, So don't always expect reward from being generous. It needs to be unconditional. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for disappointment with some people. So yeah, there's light soy sauce, dark soy sauce. I'm not going to go through the dates on there with you, even though they're actually all right on them, but I knew they would be. So I've got three soy sauce, these stock cubes. Have a look at the E number thing that I posted in the community tab. Have a look on there. I've had a look at the ingredients list on here, and there's nothing in there that's harmful. So they'll be used. Chicken ones, veg ones. These would have originally have come in like a box. It's just mixed vegetables that have been dried. And I think I did this before I bought my dehydrator and started dehydrating my own veg. So these should be fine to use. Quick soak dry peas, another forever food because there's just no moisture in there. Another bag of dehydrated vegetables that came in a pack. Some brown lentils. Good old paprika. I love paprika. And another one. Some Asda instant mash. Because of the amount of mash that I've got and the preference over the mash that I've got already, I'll probably end up just stashing that away and maybe giving it to someone further down the line because I'm not really keen on this one. A bread mix. God knows what I was going to do with that because at the time I didn't have a multi-fuel stove, in a grid down. I'm not quite sure what I would have done with that. But I'll add some yeast to that and I will make bread out of that. some beef paste. Again, this lasts for a long time, a very long time, because it's well sealed, and a half decent source of protein, long-term storage of protein. And another one, and some porridge oats, a big bag, sealed. It's still very loose in there. That'd be perfectly okay to eat for me. Some black-eyed peas, a massive bag. Good grief. 2 kilograms. So I was looking at the rice and beans thing, because that can sustain you. Red lentils, again, there's more protein in red lentils than there are in any other lentils, as far as I'm aware. Red kidney beans, be careful with them. Soak them overnight and then cook the arse out of them, otherwise they can be a problem. Do a little bit of research into red kidney beans. They're great beans to have, but they just take a little bit more care to make them safe to eat. And a massive, easy cook rice. It doesn't look like it's basmati. 5 kilo bag. Whoa. So yeah, that was it was quite sad bastard, you know, because I was so excited having a look in there to see how my mind was working, as far as the thought put into making a very early prep food bucket, sealed, you know, trying to kind of make sure it was balanced, and that there was some sort of flavors and enough to sustain me, enough to keep me going for quite some time. And yeah, that's how my mind was working in 2020. But then what I started putting into buckets after that became a little bit more comprehensive. If you look back at some of the videos that I've done, especially the family bucket ones that you can dish out to family with a toilet roll in there, some tea lights, and go back to that video if I remember, just in case anyone's not seen it, because it's a great idea. It really is. You don't want to be giving all your stuff away to members of the family that you've been warning for 5 years to start getting their shit together, start getting some food in, and they've paid no attention. So hand them over one of these buckets and say, now you're on your own, I warned you, you know? So I'll find that video and I'll post that in the description box, or I'll pin it as a comment so you can go back and watch that one as well. Other than that, have a beautiful weekend. I might do a video over the weekend, I don't know. But if I don't, have a good one. Much love. Ciao for now.